There seems to be a general belief in certain European countries and maybe in parts of the States that actually the virus now is less dangerous because the number of infections are going up, but the number of hospitalization isn't tracking that.
Yeah, hi, Francine, and thank you very much for the very kind words. Obviously, there is an element here that we need to keep an eye on in that, we all wish that there's something going on with the virus, which happens sometimes in terms of as they evolve, the virus's intent is to spread itself, not necessarily kill its host. So if they become less virulent in terms of the disease, then you're in a better place. But don't forget also, if the majority of the transmission is amongst young people, they have to then transmit it to the older folk, who then take some time to start having severe disease that may require hospitalization. So it may take 4 to 6 weeks for us to see a spike, which apparently we started seeing in France already.
What can you tell us about, how much better news or how much we have understood the virus, a lot more? It seems to be that we still don't know a lot about this virus, but we're closer to a vaccine. And I'm not necessarily talking about the Russian vaccine.
Yeah, no. Obviously, the vaccine effort continues. There isn't really a huge amount of new stuff to say there, except actually the Russian paper that was published does tell us quite a bit about how these different approaches are working. But back to your question, the pace of increase in knowledge around this virus is incredible. If you just do a search of one of these online paper research repositories, you'll find hundreds of thousands now in terms of research publications, obviously some of them not being peer-reviewed. So we are definitely learning more, and the speed with which we can genomically sequence the virus allows us to really understand how it's evolving and how it's spreading in different areas. So I'm really optimistic about understanding the biology of the virus. Okay,
what can you tell us about the Russian vaccine?
Yeah, so the Russian vaccine, obviously, you can't agree with an approval for general population based on a 76-subject trial. But when you look at the data looks pretty much equivalent or similar to what we've seen with other vaccines. There are differences, obviously. What's interesting in it is that it's using basically a combination of what looks like the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and what looks like a CanSino vaccine. And we can draw some elements out of it for what we might expect out of Johnson & Johnson's vaccine. So, seems active.
How quickly do you think we'll get a Western vaccine?
How quickly? Do you know what? I'm actually just going through analyzing every single region that they're recruiting patients in. I suspect that October is a good time frame for us to see the very first elements of data, but it could get pushed out. As you've seen, some of the companies, AstraZeneca, Moderna, are pushing out the recruitment a bit to make sure they have a pretty good representation of the population. So it might end up being pushed into November, December.